Hello, hello, hello. Shalom, beautiful people. How are you guys doing today? This is John here. I'm going to do a little bit of astrology today. Hopefully, I won't be before you very long. I don't think I will. We have a very powerful event happening in the heavens on the 15th and 16th, depending on where you are of May. That is May 15th, 16th, depending on where you are. And that is a total lunar eclipse. I was about to say solar lunar. How can you do that? The total lunar eclipse that is taking place in the powerful sign of Scorpio, which is believed to be the most powerful sign. And that's why it is so important, because we're going to deal with some of the aspects of that and what that represents for you and I, on various levels, and maybe what it represents in things that are happening in the outer world out there. Okay. And so, but just before we get there, I want to just announce that we will be starting Order of Melchizedek School of Astrology next week. Next week on the 18th. Let me see if I can pull up something here. Give me a second here to give you an idea what this is all about in case you are new to us out there. We want to just welcome you also. Spread the video around, click subscribe, as I always forget to tell people to do, and click like, as I always forget to tell people to do, because I get so just caught up in what I'm saying and doing here live that I just forget to just say those things. All right, so this is our Order of Melchizedek School of Astrology here. This is on our Rising Mystics website. And as you see, Rising Mystics Institute website, we're in the process of putting hundreds of hours of teachings, mystical teachings, and other things on the website, hopefully within the next few months. So we will have this done. And this is from our Mystic School. And we'll finish, let's say 42 months of this. And so, but here's the School of Astrology that starts on the 18th, level 1. It's going to be very powerful. And if you have not registered, you can go to risingmystics.com and you can find out how to register there and to get in on this. There are a few seats open yet. We're going to keep this small, and we're going to deal with some very, very ancient science. And by the time of the end of the 12 weeks, plus possibly a 13th week, you will know how to read the birth-death chart. And I call it the birth-death chart because all of that is in there, but we won't deal a whole lot with the death chart. We'll deal with basically the birth chart in these sessions here. So you'll be confident in how to read this. You'll understand the glyphs. You'll understand how to read this cosmic book of light language. You will be exposed to some of the mysteries and other things that we share and that I've shared for many years. And so that's starting next week. So you need to get involved with this right away. That's if you want to be a part of this. Okay, so May 15th, 16th. Okay, depending on where you are. Okay, there is a total lunar eclipse. Okay, not only that, it's a super moon. And not only that, it is in the sign of Scorpio, which is very powerful. And these eclipses are really times of where portals are opening, like the veil for the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensions and stuff like that becomes much thinner. And the portals are opening, so more light is coming in, for one thing, more information, plus it's giving us more access to higher dimensions of consciousness and stuff, and depending on the sign that the eclipse is taking place in, that gives a whole lot of information of what we have access to. All right. And so I don't want to spend a long time with this here. I just want to make you aware of this eclipse that is taking place, and that you can align yourself with the heavens to be in align with it. As Yeshua says, your will be done in earth as it is in heavens, and as some others say, as above, but so below, right? And so that's what we do with astrology. Astrology is basically, we are interpreting light language, the lights that are out there, the luminaries that are out there that are exerting this energy and influence, in a language of light. And so we we interpret that to show you what it means, for you personally, individually, what is happening as a collective, and also what is happening sometimes predictive, on a global scale with the nations of the world, with the leaders, and with events that are taking place around the world, because all of that information is out there. And so we touch on those things. But just before we get into the eclipse that is taking place and stuff, there have been some other things take place just recently in the heavens that are very powerful. And matter of fact, one kind of snuck up on me. I knew it was coming, but I just, and I even told people about it, but I just forgot myself. And it was a Mercury retrograde. And so here I am going through several challenges and things like over the past week or so, right? And having some challenging conversations and, and inner chats and stuff like that we have, this inner dialogue and stuff, and miscommunications, or wanting to be heard in certain things, right? And so I'm going, now, God, what is this? Why is this so, I'm getting so obsessed with this? And then, okay, Mercury retrograde. Okay, on May 10th, Mercury went retrograde in Gemini. And so what does that mean? Mercury represents communication. It represents many other things too, but it really represents communications and stuff, and how that we can easily miscommunicate, or we can refuse to communicate, and so when it's especially in this retrograde in Gemini, that's its home sign. So there's a lot of power there. And what I mean by retrograde is that the planet appear to like just go backward. It goes like stand still. It's called like stationary retrograde. So that means it appears to just sit in one spot, gathering up all of this energy, right? And then it appears to go backwards, like in the heavens and stuff. And so, if we are not watchful and stuff, we'll find that in our relationships, in our communications with people, whether it's at work or in home or wherever and stuff, sometimes we will start to sulk. We will start to just, get this momentum, and we have this inner chatter and dialogue going on within us and stuff. And then we start to express this, and maybe it don't come out in the right way, or the way that it should come out, or, things of that sort. So we miscommunicate and things of that sort. So Mercury retrograde is from May 10th through June the 3rd. And so we want to just govern ourselves accordingly. But we're going to talk about some other things that deals with also, because if I show you a chart here, which I think I'll do now, and show you just kind of where it's at. Give me a moment here. All right, here we go. Okay, so here we have Mercury. That is, this is I cast this chart for May 15th. It's not May 15th yet, but because I'm talking about the eclipse basically, but you get an idea. So we have Mercury that is 3 degrees of Gemini here. So we have it here, and we see the closeness to the house of Taurus. And if you are aware of the financial markets and the crypto space and things like that over the past week, you will see that there's been a whole lot of volatility, a whole lot of shaking up of things happening there. Now, that's part of what is taking place here. And someone was asking me, and they said, well, how long is this going to go on? And I says, well, I think that this level of volatility that we're seeing in the crypto space now and in the finances, the stock and stuff like that, will continue to just act up until June 3rd. June 3rd, there may be something major that will take place, because it's going to just stand still again, build up a whole lot of power before it moves forward. And so anything after June 3rd and stuff, everything should start to stabilize, what you can consider stabilize again, and begin to move again, based on my understanding of what I'm reading here in the heavens here. Okay, and so we have that taking place. Okay, the Mercury retrograde. Then we also have Jupiter down here that's moved into Aries at 0 degrees of Aries, which is a very powerful move. Whenever these planets like change signs and things of that sort, it is very powerful, and it is a lot of energy that's out there. And especially when you have Jupiter, that's the largest planet like in our solar system, and it represents expansion. It represents, Jupiter's the god of gods. That's the guru. That is the philosopher. That's the blessings. That's the benefic planet. That's the abundance and all of these other wonderful positive things. It represents travel and international travel and all of this stuff. And so we have it moving back into Aries, okay, for a time. And it's going to be there in Aries until around the end of October of this year, okay, around the end of October of this year. Now, you notice here that it is yet close. You see this conjuncture with Pisces, that is in Pisces, rather Neptune in Pisces, and with Mars in Pisces. And so this is the house of dreams and stuff. And Jupiter was there in Pisces before it went back over into Aries. Okay. The reason I'm saying that is, so this is the house of dreams and goals and many other things, wonderful spiritual stuff that's taking place. And so, but with the move of Jupiter now into Aries, the heavens are basically saying to you, to all the things that you have been planning, the goals and the dreams and the things that you have put into place that maybe you've written down that you are want to do and stuff. With Jupiter moving into Aries and stuff, the heavens are saying, do it, do it. The energy is there. And see, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And so it's basically saying, get started with something new. Don't be afraid to step out and do something new, okay, to put these things into practice, because you got a lot of energy there. Aries is ruled by Mars, which is a fire sign. And then you have Jupiter, okay, all of this energy that is there to help you with your goals and with your dreams and to get things started, to get things moving. So that energy is going to be there until around the end of October. Then it's going to move back into Pisces for a while, and it's going to just go back and forth there a little bit until it gets back settled into Aries, and it has a 12-year period there in Aries. Okay, and so we see this as taking place. All right, but now for the main thing that we really want to talk about is this lunar eclipse. Total lunar eclipse in Scorpio. This symbol here represents Scorpio. And so when this happens, when it is fully eclipsed, the moon is fully eclipsed, it'll be like around 25, 26 degrees there in Scorpio, and the sun will be around 25 degrees. As I said, this is a chart for the future, for when that takes place within a few days. And so you're going to find that this represents the eclipse represents like dealing with shadows. And so I guess the way I could say it is dealing with shadow work, the dark things, the things that we don't like to deal with and stuff. But we have these eclipses and these movements that are happening within the heavens that is designed to help us to evolve. And in order to evolve and to become the best version of ourselves and manifest who we really are, we have to deal with the shadows. We got to deal with the shadow work, that's what we call it, right? And so, and that's what these eclipses are really just pointing toward, and especially this one here, because it is in the house of Scorpio, and that's the house of like power, that's the house of transformation, that's a house of sex, sexuality, death, the house of secrets, and all of that, that is there. But it's also the house of mystery, the occult sciences, dreams and visions, and those psychic abilities and stuff, And so on the one hand, we find that this eclipse here is saying, hey, deal with the stuff, deal with the negative stuff, the things of the lower vibrational stuff, that's in the shadows of your life. And what I mean by that is look at it, deal with it, admit it, or whatever you have to do to do that. Like, sit in the mirror, do some mirror work or whatever, and do whatever you need to do to just reconcile so that everything that is of a lower vibration can be transmuted, can be transformed. Scorpio is the house of transformation, the house of transmutation, where you take these base things, these lower vibrational things, and you transmute them to something very positive and high vibrational things. You turn anger and hate into love, like, and peace. And so those are just examples. And so the moon here is basically, the eclipse is basically telling us to just deal with those things in the house of secrets. Ooh, Wow. Okay. I just saw something there, and, the way everything is moving and the way the heavens are going, it is forcing us to go back to maybe secrets that we have kept for decades, things that have happened and that we did not straighten out, that we did not really fully divulge and stuff, and that we've allowed the deception of things like to go on in our personal life and families, or things that we did and stuff that we need to rectify, we need to really just deal with. So the House of Secrets is basically saying, with this eclipse in it, that, we're going to have to do something about it, or situations on the outside will move on it to bring it to the head, to bring it to the surface. So you understand what I'm saying? And so we've been given this opportunity to deal with things within ourselves and to bring reconciliation, and with people that may be in our lives, and things that we might need to just get out on the table, clear the air and stuff like that, so that when families come together, there won't be all of this like little, you can feel it. No one is saying it, but everybody can feel it. So we can get all of this stuff out of the way. And so this is part of the shadow work that this eclipse is really saying in the House of Secrets to deal with, on that level. Now, on a more, I guess, positive level, we could call it and stuff, this eclipse is highlighting your spiritual abilities. It's highlighting the prophet, the prophecy, the seer, the clairvoyant, the psychic that's within you. Is highlighting the power of dreams within you. It's highlighting, those abilities that may be dormant there, that the universe is saying, okay, now it's time to really start to step out in faith and just exercise these abilities, because they're there, and you need to function in that. This eclipse is also highlighting our belief systems and stuff, and so some of us are being forced to, how can I say, to redo our theology. Some of us are being forced to basically rework our theology, our belief systems about what we thought we knew, and maybe you've even gone to cemetery, and gotten training and got degrees in certain things that you thought you knew. But this eclipse is saying, it's okay to just rip the stuff up and move on, or just keep it on the wall, and that was your past. That's where you were at that time, but now you have moved on. I'm reminded of what Apostle Paul said, Rabbi Paul said in the Bible. He says, I mean, this guy was a Pharisee. He's a Pharisee. He had a PhD in everything that had to do with religion and Judaism, and all that, double, triple PhD, plus a linguistic. And I mean, he was very, very well educated, the top of the line. And he had to come to a point where he dealt with his shadow work on the level of religion, as it were, where he realized that all of his belief system was BS. That's what your belief system, our belief system is many times. It's just BS. And so he says, I count all of the things I've learned, all of my accomplishments, all of my plaques on the wall, because I'm looking at somebody right now. And so I count it as dung. I count it as dung. He says, because now there is something else that is being revealed that surpasses everything that I thought I knew in that three-dimensional construct, where I had limited the idea of what I call God and myself. And so he says, it's nothing but dung. He says, that's nothing compared to this glorious knowledge of the Christ consciousness that's now being revealed within me. That's what he said. That's in the Bible. All right. Okay. And so this eclipse is dealing with things on those levels also, the shadow work that has to be done to deal with stuff, to get rid of old belief systems, so that you can go, so that you can move on. And you know what? You have a church, some of you are pastors and stuff, and you're wondering, well, how is this going to affect the people? You know what? I'll just tell you this, that if you don't begin to express and share what you know, they might end up listening to someone else that will, and might end up migrating to another space. Can you hear what I'm saying? Because a lot of pastors, a lot of leaders are afraid to like move out of the box that they put themselves into, right? And they're afraid of what the people are going to say, what they're going to think, or whatever, you know. Our job as leaders, as ministers, as teachers are to educate. That's what he told me many years ago. Educate, enlighten, empower, and give the people permission to think. And I find that when people know truth, truth sets them free. Truth sets them free. So I'm really, really feeling this right now for someone that's listening, possibly a lot of people, ministers or pastors that may be listening. Don't be afraid to move on. You need to move on because the people are ready and they need to hear more. Let them grow. Let them grow. Stop stifling their growth. All right. Okay. So now let's move on from here before I start into some other things. Okay. So we see this lunar eclipse that is taking place here. Very powerful in the house of Scorpio, that house of power and all of these things here. And we're being forced to do the shadow work to deal with stuff. Now, in your shadow work, when you're dealing with stuff on an individual level and stuff, I want you to keep in mind that the moon represents emotions. That's your emotional body. All right. Okay. And then we have this eclipse that is taking place in Scorpio, which is control, the element is water, which represent emotions. And then this is a super moon on top of it, where it's closer. And so there's a whole lot of emphasis on emotions and water and things of that sort that the heavens are saying right now. And so if you want to do a little ritual with this total lunar eclipse, do something with water. My body told me I needed that. Okay. Now, what can you do? Okay, number one, if you have things that you know that you really want to work out and you want to really overcome and move beyond using the energy of the heavens, okay, to help you and to assist you with this and stuff, you can speak things out of your mouth and you can bless some water. Just speak over some water. You don't need a priest. You don't need me to do it for you. Just get some good water and speak into that water, program that water and change that water into holy water, if you will, and give it a command of what you want it to become. And then just conduct a water libation, just a water offering, during the full moon, the eclipse, okay, that is taking place the 15th and 16th, right? Okay, that's just perform that. That is a very powerful ritual. Some of you might want to write things down. Okay, write things down that you want to really, really just deal with and that you're moving out from, that you don't want to visit anymore and stuff. Write those things down. You might say, well, I've done it many times. Do it again. Do it until, it's done, until you realize that it's done. And when you finish writing it down, doing the power of the lunar eclipse and stuff, take that and take some water that you've already spoken over and programmed, prayed over and stuff, and pour the water on the paper, or put the paper in a bowl or of water that you have spoken into. And so let it become fully submerged in that water. It is a very powerful ritual. You can even throw some salt in if you want, Okay, throw some salt in if you want, and to go along with that. And so now what you're doing, you're matching the energy, not only in the heavens, but the element, okay, that it represent, that is taking place here. And so which making this much more powerful. So you're incorporating this within that experience there. Another thing that this eclipse here, the eclipses are based on these nodes. They can either take place in the north node, this is here, okay, or the south node. The north node is where you want to go, your aspirations, your goals, and your dreams, and where you're supposed to be in life and things like that. And as you see with this north node here, it is 22 degrees of Taurus. It's in the house of Taurus. And so what the heavens have been saying to us for about 3 months, I think, since the nodes changed, is that is that to set your house in order, because Taurus is the house of like finance, the house of like where your family is and your possessions and your money and things of that sort. It's been the house of food, you know, and because there's a food shortage coming. So the heavens have been saying like, focus on these things. You have 18 months. You have 18 months to focus on these things. And so that's where we're going into. And so, but the south node would be 180 degrees opposite of that, which is in Scorpio. This is the place again of secrets and dark things and hidden things, and also place of power and other things too here. And so we have that again, just another example. Now on a more like larger scale here, we see in the world situation that this is a very powerful thing that is happening. And I shared with our people just several days ago that I heard Spirit saying that we have this eclipse and we have shifted. So you're going to see some major things happening with world leaders, and where it'll be made public of some of them becoming ill, not just with COVID or things like that, but there'll be some major things that's going to be happening with leaders. Now, the effects of this eclipse will last about 6 months. Now, just because you don't see nothing happen on the 15th or 16th doesn't mean that, oh, well, nothing really happened. It happens. You know, this is these movements in the heavens, that's massive energy that's taking place. And you're having it like, you know, when the sun is in Taurus and the moon is in Scorpio, and those are both fixed signs, So it's very powerful what is taking place here. But what it is showing you is that that is the touch-off date. That is the high point of this energy, and the energy will continue to go on like this is what May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So for the next 6 months, this energy that is being stamped or being exerted into the space will be affecting the planet and things. And what I'm talking about now is leaders. You will see things in the world situations over the next 6 months really just become more extreme. And I don't want to get into the details of, because we know, because this Scorpio is also the symbol of death. Okay, so we're finding things that will become more extreme, and we see that even with the war, we see Mars here with things that will be taking place, and what may appear as though that things are like chilling out between Russia and Ukraine. Somewhere between July and August, I've been seeing possibly more August, that things will begin to heat up again. And things could begin to just go into a whole new level of warfare. And this will intensify when the sun is in Leo. And along with the effects of this eclipse and some other things that will be taking place and stuff, that energy will intensify over August, September, October into November. And it will be affecting major world leaders. World leaders. Okay, you will see that, and you will see it in the news events taking place. All right, so I don't want to really go further. I've said more than what I really wanted to say here, but just prepare for the total lunar eclipse that is taking place in Scorpio. Experience it. Drink lots of good water. I'm not saying this is the best water, but drink lots of water. Align yourself with that. Program your water for what you want it to become, and expect to manifest your highest expression of yourself, because that's what it's all about. It's about evolving, dealing with the shadow work and everything, coming out into the light, being the transparent person we're called to be, so that we can really make a change in this world. You guys have an awesome time doing your ritual, and an awesome day. Bless you.